Okay. Hey guys, DJ AfterBurnz here, aka Streaks. I am basically just responding to one of the people up in the Discord. We got my guy Cthulhu. He ended up asking for a tutorial on like some other stuff. Basically like a tutorial on how I utilize tape stop, but also I thought that it would be a good idea if I just fleshed out and actually show you guys how I actually do my brasses for like Eurobeat production, and I also have like a little like kind of like a side bass note thing as I have well. So basically just going through it, I'll show you guys what I'm basically working with. This is basically probably going to be like, so basically what I did was like use a riff that I made on my recent track, Pressing Against Adversity, even though I had to honestly take it down because it was mixed really bad and I probably may end up having to like put it back on. But that being said, I'll show you like basically what we're working with. So here's the brass right now. Okay, so with that being said, as I go into like the mixing progress, I'll show you guys exactly what instruments that I'm using, along with how I actually bust it all together as far as like the FL thing, along with actually doing automations to show the actual tutorial on how like I create like the LFO vibrato and pitch dives on there, and also explaining like my philosophy as far as that. But as all shown, this is all like in the tutorial. So basically like shout out to Kesari, shout out to Vikas, and obviously ODDYSEY Eurobeat, because basically without her, I wouldn't exist here. But also, well, the whole Discord wouldn't exist, you know what I mean. But with that being said, so we're gonna go through like some of the stuff that I have on here. So as you see, I have, so basically I have like one of my own riffs that, or one of my own presets I made as far as Fast Man. But basically it's just like an inspiration off of like ODDYSEY's basically pack as far as a quickie quick man. But I ended up doing like a few like modulations on like some of the shaping onto it. Here is basically the perk brass that came with the pack. I have a gaming brass, which is actually one that I actually like made, and this kind of simulates a like Game Boy type thing. I have some instruments from Synth One, which is basically like the Eurodance 90s, as far as like the one of the millions of presets within like the either the Euro Nom or the cool Eurobeat Nom thing. Basically they're the same packs. I have the Euro Giga or Eurosaw Giga from that same pack, and then I also have a Eurobeat brass I made myself from, or actually I don't know if I probably like tweaked it a little bit, but it's like I'm not going to take credit from something that I didn't do. I don't know, somebody made this brass for me, but even though I tweaked it a little bit, somebody ended up making a preset and I got it from Reddit somewhere. Or maybe it was a cock. I don't know if it was a Kako, because I know that like that individual ended up putting it in there. Shout out to him. Yeah. Shout out to him. Yeah, shout out to him. We're about to make a collab on there too. Basically I have the PG8X as well. Basically I picked that up from ODDYSEY stream, and basically as we go on. So basically like also as I go on, I'll show you guys, well that's the last one. I'll show you guys how like I kind of like EQ'd it as well for all the instruments to bust well. So for instance, like I ended up picking up that with some of the instruments, I had to do this to like make it bright and allow it to cut through the mix, especially with the PG8X. And you're also going to see me do a little bit of hard clipping as well as far as like the end of it here. But basically that's how I bust my track. So in FL, it's a good idea to, one, I always like color code my stuff to make sure that I'm staying organized, because knowing myself, I will literally like lose all of my stuff and I'll get anxiety if I don't like color code it. I'm not like OCD-ish, but you know. But so as you can see, there's some tracks that are actually there's some tracks in the mixing channel that are actually like hitting the basically like anything hitting above like the 6 here, even though like FL is like a 64-bit thing, and feel free to correct me on this. It's like this thing can be pushed literally all the way up here as long as like your buses are not going over like 6 dB or whatnot, and you can control it, because at the end of the route you don't want this as far as mixing, especially like kicks, drums, and all that stuff. Odyssey actually had a ratio as far as like the kicks and drums and whatnot to make sure it's not hitting over like 6 dB on here. But basically your mix, you don't want that hitting down there either. What like post or pre-processing, I mean. But that being said, we're going to go ahead. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I actually do my riffs and the tape stop. So before we actually get into that, let me go ahead and actually throw in the tape stop right here. So what this does, as I end up like explaining within the group, there are some synths in here that like, okay, so there are some synths in here. So as you can see, like the modulation clips or whatnot, or geez, I can't speak. I need to do more of these streams because it helps me like with like public speaking and all that stuff too. But if you see on like some of these like mod wheels and all that, here's your pitch dive. Here is your mod wheel, basically. There's a riff, vibrato, whatnot. So I'm gonna put that back. I'm gonna put that back at 0. Okay, so as you can see, within the serum preset, you can be able to like pitch dive and mutilate this to, or modulate this to any like shape or form you want. So basically that's what I'm picking up on like Odyssey's thing, that you can basically like, one of the things that she doesn't like to use tape stop, and I can see why, is because like it kind of limits what you can actually do as far as like some of these like preset things here. But the reason why I use tape stop is because like what I explained on here, as far as like synth 1 instruments, there is no pitch modulation that would be easy to control in order to do it. So it's like, and because I have like a large grouping of these brasses, it makes it super easy to be able to like still like make funky riffs or make funky pitch dives in the group, and it'll still sound good. But the way you have to like you have to like create the automation clips in a way like in the old video of how I showed, of like in little bits and pieces as far as turning it on, basically like kicking it on all the way and then cutting it off. But I'll show that as the tutorial goes. So basically like what I do, we're gonna go ahead and highlight this. Make sure you select it. So when you make automation clips, I think it was said in the chat too, make sure you select the area where you want the automation thing at, because this will drag all the way out as far as the song goes, as far as like the clip you will want to do. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick this one. So we're going to go ahead and create an automation clip here on the trigger, because that is the level on how you will want that to hit. So that'd be the first. So it's kind of like, I like to do this like after I actually do all of the I like to do it after like I actually do all of the vibrato stuff on there, which honestly I'm gonna go ahead and just do that too. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. I picked this up from somebody too, where you can actually like make multiple groupings. Hit that creates there, that creates there. So I'm modulating the vibrato pitch. So on the synth 1 thing, you want to go ahead and use the LFO there. Synth 1, I'll use LFO there. And I'm going to get that out of the way. On here, I will do the vibrato depth. Turn that all the way down. and the PGX, the LFO here. So with all that, that basically selected all the parameters I want, and I'm going to go ahead and create automation clips for all of those, and that'll be a shortcut as far as getting all of the modulations here. So I'm going to go ahead and move that down, move it up, and if you guys don't mind, I'm actually going to I'm going to go ahead and just like change the colors on these because organization is key and I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and make this bright yellow because, or whatever that color is. Yeah, I like to basically like to make sure it's all color coded somewhat, but we got to make it a bright color because Eurobeat is supposed to be bright. If it ain't bright, it ain't right, you know. You know, now I'm thinking about while I'm doing these type of videos too, I probably may need to develop a stream schedule. Cause I definitely was supposed to do that over like Twitch, but like I've been slacking. Like Jesus. But okay, so basically we got all of our riffs, or we got our automation clips for modding. I'm gonna go ahead and just move these. I'm gonna go ahead and just move that down too, and move that up. All right, so what I like to do, I like to slow this down literally like that. So you can hear like the weirdness on it because some of these are kind of activated and I don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and so this is the only problem about like FL is that it is a tedious process, but there's a way how you can actually copy and paste. As shown also in chat, there's a way how to like copy and paste like this stuff in here too. So we're just gonna go one at a time. We're gonna work on Fastman first. Go ahead and just slow down. Eurobeat brass. Sorry about that, guys. I gotta make sure I didn't do two at the same time. Pitch A and pitch B. What the hell? Uh-oh. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I think I probably gotta delete this one then. Alright, there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, excellent. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and okay, so for me, all of the instruments except for, so I'm gonna show you guys this. So literally all of your instruments except the synth 1, you want to go ahead and like make sure that they're all like full right triangles, and I'll show you guys basically like that and the PG8 or okay, so all of your instruments except the PG8X and all your synth 1s, you want to make them full triangles, or this is how I mix it. You can do whatever you want, but you know what I'm saying. So don't. Oh my gosh, it's so tedious, but plus I have like limited sight right now because I don't have my contacts in, so I really gotta zoom in onto this. And So it's a good thing I'm probably redoing it, because I've been meaning to like redo this for the 5th time already. Dun, 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 dun. And as you can see, I'm about to literally flood this whole thing with Rise, because for me, I just love it. I probably gotta change that track too, because so for one, that's not supposed. Give me just a second, guys. Sorry. All right, there we go. So the cool thing is that at least like if you get one pattern first, it's pretty easy to copy and paste on all of it. It's just a matter of like getting that first pattern down. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, just for the record, I do not start off with my brasses when making Eurobeat productions. I always start with the drums for some reason, because I like to get the rhythm first. So this is actually like a rarity, but it also is a redo of a piece I'm doing. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I should be able to like just copy and paste all that, but I feel like that's going to take way too long, and it's going to get complicated. I'm going to vary it up. I'm going to do it on this one this time. All right, here's where it gets very, very intricate. Well, not intricate, but intimate. You gotta make love to this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend it down a little bit. All right, we got our first pattern down. Perfect. All right, so here's what we're gonna, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. With all of that down, all of the serums. We go to articulate copy tools, paste. Shout out to Aaron showing this as well, because he was the one who ended up showing like the copy and pasting. All right, so we got all that. So as you can see, the synth ones are also going to be pasted, but I'm going to actually change some stuff on there too. So I got that, and the PGA and the PGA-X. That's one. Okay. So basically we got our pattern here. Now what I'm about to do is close all of the serums, because those are like the whole ones and we are basically done with them. Oh, also the Harmer brass is okay too. But yeah, the Harmer brass is okay too. So we're gonna go ahead. What I'm gonna do is actually bring these down just a little bit. So here's what I ended up doing before. And I think I actually talked with Miyoku about this too, and like some other people as far as like the LFO thing. So what I used to do is actually mutilate it as little here, because or like I would have the triangle literally like this, but I would still get no result because I was trying to be careful not to make sure that the synth 1 doesn't sound all over the place. For a solid example, what we got, the Eurodance and the Giga. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna increase this a little bit. Yeah, like literally that. Just because I have like an automation, and I know that's like literally down here. But the thing, like literally down here, wherever the note is. But the thing is that you want that effect, but you don't want that as far as like a whole note that's affecting the other like things. So that's why it's like, it was super mind blowing when I'm posting those pictures on there. Instead of like posting the pictures, as far as like, instead of just using this to control the, here, like I'll turn the Euro, hopefully this is the Eurodance. Like you heard like that little like riff there. You don't need to necessarily like have it all the way down here. You can push it up like that, but parabola, like exponential curve that thing right there, because that way you can actually still have that same effect, but it will actually activate and trigger more so on the tail end of the actual like note. And honestly, like you can push this thing to the moon if you really wanted to. So what I'm going to do here is like do the exact same thing, but I'm probably going to want to turn it down so that way like the peak won't really like affect the, the peak won't really like mess up the entire like thing as well. But basically with that, like all the way up the peak, as far as like the trigger, is a lot more like aggressive than all the way down here. So it's like with that, now I can actually have like a little bit more emphasis without necessarily having to worry about the whole notes like going wonkers on me. And I want to do this, and with this effect, it makes it a lot more easier to do it with the PG8X as well. And all of them are still going to be in that threshold. So the reason why I'm doing it on here is just to show you guys fully. So, or basically like just showing you guys like the actual effect as far as a 3-track thing. Now what I'm actually like legitimately about to do is only work on 1 track, and I'm about to copy and paste to basically save time. So we're basically just going through all that. So we're almost there. Maybe I should upload this on YouTube. Okay, so on these long notes, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down to lower the peak because I want the activation trigger, but still kind of want it like right there. And for the end, I'm gonna do that because as it pairs with the actual like the trigger for the tape stop, I want to make it have a certain effect. So all that, so all of that, we're gonna go ahead and copy, paste, paste, and paste. All right, we should have a pretty nice riff now. Should have said redux, but basically you have like your typical riffs as far as there. Now we're going to get into the fun thing, which is the tape stop. So like I said, if we were not messing with any PG8X or Synth 1, I would have just made automation clips for the pitch dives, if that makes sense. literally just like what Odyssey ended up saying. I would have made automations for that as well, but it's like, since I use synth 1 too much, it's basically a lot easier to group. So going back to it, we already made an automation clip for the trigger right here. We're going to go ahead and go in here, and what I'm going to do, okay, sorry, gotta make sure that second bass line is down here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and copy and paste, get that out the way, and we can actually seriously get started on it. So what I'm going to do in order to activate it, we're going to go ahead, lower that down again. We're going to pump this all the way. We're going to pump this all the way to the top, or like the beginning to the top here. And we're going to shorten it or lower it, because up here, that means that it's activated all the way up. Down here means that it's off. I'm going to go ahead and do it here. Cut that off. And now I'm actually about to work with, so with that being said, now I'm about to go ahead and turn the magnet off, and I am going to play with where I want the thing to activate. So what I like to do is to turn the magnet off as far as like the glue and whatnot, and I like to have it, and I like to like offset it a little bit to where the note will fall off of here. And basically I just choose the note as far as where to pitch dive. So kind of got to be conscious as far as where you want these to be put. Like right now, I have them in like some wonky places, but it's like, it just depends on like basically what comes out and sounds well. But it's all up to your pace. You can also like, so the reason why I'm making this unique is because you can actually change the like length of the length of the effect on how long you want to delay the pitch dive. The only problem is that this is probably why it's pretty good to make automation clips on like pitch dives as well, because this is kind of limiting, even though I probably could change it. As far as like the slowdown effect on here, probably make it a little more, like a little less aggressive here. But the thing is that it's kind of like a lot of work as far as like creating automation clips and all that. And I really don't mess with this button too much, because I only like use like here on like probably use like only like 1/4 note or whatever this is. have a pretty sexy Euro riff. And with all the mutilations, and that is how I use tape stop. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it on here. Let's see how this sounds. Forgot to move these over. Yeah. Once again, shout out to Kesari because he was the one that actually like showed this in a tutorial that he ended up making. So, oh, Jesus. What did I, oh, okay, there we go. Come on. There we go. Yeah, so, all right, so with that being said, I'm also going to show you guys another little trick that I like to do before I actually end the video. Oh, it wasn't, I didn't need to cut that. So I will give a huge shout out to Aaron once again for basically explaining something that I ended up finding on the video. So I'm going to show you guys how I like to like parallel process, like either parallel process or basically like process like delays and stuff. Got that. So I'm going to go ahead and slightly sterilize that. That's going to be, do that because I want the kicks to be like merged and stuff. But we're going to go ahead and hit, I'm going to say this will be the verb delay. Reverb, and I like to use delay too. So free reverbs there, delay is here. I'm going to go ahead and use delay 3. We'll go ahead, minimize that, ping pong it. I'll keep there. Brass master will be there. I'm going to sidechain this track, bump that up just a little bit. And that stays. And there you go. Save that, and thank you guys for tuning in and basically doing that. Hopefully that actually helps explain that. And also, it's like if I do tutorials, please let me know if I actually need to like talk and actually explain that stuff, because like the last video I did, I didn't feel right saying that it was like just showing you guys the instruments instead of like going through of what I did. So let me know if there's anything or feedback as far as like anything else, but hopefully this helps out. I'll see you guys in chat.